Good morning. Let's try that once more with feelings. Good morning. Welcome to the program Agenda. I'm your host, Cito Beltran, and welcoming you as we air live from Lipa City, where it is raining because of the low pressure area spotted off Mindanao and forecasted to be a typhoon or a tropical storm. So mag-ingat po tayo at baka maging wet and wild na naman this weekend. In any case, welcome to the program. It is December 9, 2022. It's a Friday, and we are going to have a very interesting topic, an interview this morning, and it will focus on something many actually live in denial of. Kahit natanggi nyo, kahit hindi nyo tanggapin, kitang-kitang ebidensya, but let us tackle the topic of obesity because it is not just about taba-ching-ching. Okay, obesity can be life-threatening. It can be a serious health problem, especially for kids who you raise to, you want them to look healthy, and your notion of healthy is dapat mataba. Naku po, ang dami kong alam. I know so many kids who started out as cute and chubby, and now they are no longer cute and they are more than chubby. So don't be offended when we talk about obesity, because your best defense is to be informed about what you should know and what you can do. But before that, let's go to a daily starter, our daily starter, which has become my favorite recently, and I post it on Facebook because it is addressing comments, criticisms, etc. And it is something that applies to all of us, that it is something we need to take to heart and really reflect on. And our daily starter comes from Mark McKillop, okay? And it goes, the next time you see someone enjoying something that's not hurting anyone, that's not your cup of tea, instead of saying something negative, train yourself to think, I'm glad they are happy, and carry on with your life. Okay? Kasi napapadalas po yan na napansin ko, maybe it's the age, but I become, I paid particular attention to people who say, oh, why is he doing that? Why is he getting into that? Or why is she involved in this? Or why is she spending so much time on that? Eh kung happy siya, wala naman siyang nasasaktan. They do not injure other people. They do not rob other people. They do not take away your time. Bakit ka ba nakikialam? Okay? I'm just saying that, okay? Because it is a reality. Sometimes we think we know better. But until you take time to understand, why did you get into that? Why are you doing that? Why are you spending so much time on that? Better understanding of what motivates a person makes you a better person in return. Kumbaga, alam mo yung hugot ng tao. So, once again, the next time you see someone enjoying something that's not hurting anyone, okay, that's not your cup of tea, hindi mo trip. Instead of saying something negative, train yourself to think, I'm glad they are happy. Mabuti naman, masaya sila, maligaya sila, and carry on with your life. Okay, let's now go to the front page of the Philippine Star. Like I said, December 9, 2022. It's a Friday, and the headline of the Philippine Star is ERC asks CA to lift TRO on power deal. Puro acronym and shortcuts, no? The Energy Regulatory Commission has asked the Court of Appeals to lift the temporary restraining order on the suspension or on the implementation of the supply contract between San Miguel Power and Meralco. For those of you who are not familiar, there is a contract between Southern Global Bagayon. Okay, it is South Premier Power Corporation and Meralco for South Premier to supply Meralco with electricity. But South Premier asked the ERC, pwede po bang mag-increase kami ng singil outside of the contract because of the global situation of power, fuel, etc., etc. All companies are suffering from the same impact. But ERC said, no, what's on paper stays on paper. So the Southern Power Premier Corporation went to the Court of Appeals and got a TRO. So ayun po, pilit tinatanggal ng ERC. Okay, at the top of the front page, Maharlika needs audit review in line with global practices. Sabay cambio ng reverse, kabig. Okay, legislators have essentially changed their tune and are now saying that there should be changes in the very bill that they are trying to pass in Congress. In other words, before, original version, wala masyadong review, investment lang. O ngayon biglang, ay baka manakaw nga naman. Let's put in checks and balances, etc. Okay, now more on the side of religion. Pinoy Catholics urged to emulate Mary's Act. Okay? Manila Archbishop Jose Cardinal Advincula urged Catholic faithful to emulate, gayahin, the kindness and selflessness of the Blessed Virgin Mary as he led yesterday's act of consecration and entrustment of the country to the protection of Mary along with Papal Nuncio Archbishop Charles Brown. Ayun. Meanwhile, the United Nations Rapporteur cites gaps in Philippine OSAEC. Baka hindi nyo alam yan. Yan po ay online sexual abuse, okay, and exploitation of children. According to the UN rapporteur who came to the Philippines recently, there are gaps in what is being done against online sex abuse and exploitation of children, particularly offline, kumbaga yung mga involved in tourism, illegal child labor, etc., etc. Meanwhile, good news, Hidilyn rules World Championships, sweeps 3 golds. Okay, our Tokyo Olympic gold medalist Hidilyn Diaz Naranjo finally secured the victory that has eluded her for so long. Hidilyn won 3 gold medals in the 55-kilogram division of the International Weightlifting Federation World Championships in Bogota, Colombia. Okay, and further down, as I already mentioned earlier, LPA to become tropical cyclone by weekend. According to PAG-ASA or the Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical and Astronomical Services, the LPA in Mindanao could intensify into tropical cyclone Rosal in the next few days. Ayan po, mag-ingat po tayo, maghanda. Meanwhile, Ukraine's President Zelensky Okay? Volodymyr, hindi Vladimir. Volodymyr Zelensky, and the Ukrainian Spirit of Resistance has been chosen as 2022 Person of the Year by Time Magazine. Yan po, no? And here at home, the Chiefs, the Chiefs, a talk show broadcast of Cignal TV's One News, okay, bags Best Public Affairs Program Award during the 10th Makatao Awards for Media Excellence. Congratulations po. Okay, that about wraps up our review of the news today, and it's 8:13 in the morning. Huwag po kayong matataranta ang mga nanonood ng replay sa hapon because the live version is in the morning. Okay, now let's move on to our interview topic discussion. As I mentioned, pag-uusapan natin ay obesity. And please stay with us because it is important for many Filipinos, such as you watching the program, to know what this subject matter is, how serious it is, what we don't know about it. And so let's roll out the Betamax, Gab, and introduce our expert on the subject matter.
Jhoanne Cruz-Balili is a licensed nutritionist, dietitian, and a certified sports nutritionist. She has over 12 years of progressive experience and expertise working with known individuals, private companies, and clinics. Her critical eye on diet and nutrition has made her well sought after by age groups from pediatric to adults and elderly with medical concerns.
Okay, Jhoanne, welcome to the program. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, Sir Cito, and to all our viewers. So
Okay, thank you for
having me po.
thank you for joining us on this weekend episode, Friday of Agenda, and the subject matter. Generally, they just say, "Oh, pag-uusapan obesity." Nako, usapang patabaan na naman yan. But I would like to ask you to take the lead on the discussion because a lot of people get turned off when you talk about obesity, but there are many things that they don't know about obesity because most people assume, kanya naman obese, lamon ang lamon. Yung pala may ibang dahilan. So if you would, Jhoanne, could you guide us through this subject?
Okay, so first, obesity is a serious medical condition that affects not just as adults, but also our children. So, diba? So one of the best strategies here is to reduce, and to improve our eating habits, exercise daily, diba? At least 30 minutes a day to the entire family. Kasi usually, lalo ngayon, Sir Cito, even mga kids is marami ka nang makikita na naglalakihan na yung mga bata, 'di ba? So we may say it na parang for now it's cute, 'di ba? So medyo yun nga as you mentioned na taba ching-ching, 'di ba? But underlying that is something that is we are need to be more concerned of, 'di ba? So it's more on sa kids kasi ngayon, Sir Cito, it's more on kung ano yung nakikita nila to their family. Syempre, 'di ba, during the pandemic season as well, 'di ba? So yun yung ginagaya nila and nagiging part of their habit po. So yun.
Okay, so let's start with that. Pediatric obesity. Many parents have this misinformation or wrong impression that a healthy baby is a chubby baby. And if your baby is not chubby, medyo normal lang, medyo muscle, parang hello, ano ba naman yung baby mo? Para ng tatang may muscle na, bata-bata pa.
Yeah. Actually, with that po, kasi ako kasi as a nutritionist-dietitian, so kumbaga parang when I have this clients na mga bata, it's more on the body composition po kasi yung tinitignan natin sa kanila. Like you mentioned, merong iba po kasi na cute tignan sa pagkabata kasi 'di ba? Kumbaga cute silang tignan kasi medyo ayun nga medyo masarap kurutin, 'di ba? But it's more on ano ba yung cases nila ngayon kasi it's more on the physical activities also of the kids is lalo ngayon during the pandemic na mas nabawasan sila na activities kasi na-limit yung galaw nila especially now na nasa bahay lang sila, 'di ba? So more on ang kids is ano ba yung ibibigay natin sa kanila for them to mapirme sa isang lugar kasi their physical activeness wala silang mapaglugaran especially kapag nasa loob lang ng bahay po, 'di ba?
Okay, I noticed when we were raising our daughter Hannah when she was a toddler, there people would say difference of strategy or difference of opinion daw. But my wife Karen, what she would do is, okay, time to eat, but she would not force her to eat on time. If you're hungry or she asks to eat, she will be fed. And if she doesn't want to eat and she's just playing with her food, okay, take the food away and she would just be brought to her play area, etc. While others talagang parang, oy, 8:00 na, yung bata palamunin. And, you know, there are measures, literally palamunin, parang nagpapalaki ng baboy. What is the right approach as far as you're concerned? Because that has been a debate. Should we discipline, condition children to eat at a specific time with a specific volume, or let the child decide?
Yeah. So with that case po kasi Sir Cito, ayun nga as you mentioned, it's really a big controversy regarding paano ba yun dapat. Pero kasi ako, I'm also a mother of two. I do have a 3-year-old toddler and 8-year-old as well. So kumbaga parang growing up with the kids, different strategy 'di ba? So kumbaga parang makikita natin like my first kid po is baby-led. So on time ang kain. So, kumbaga ganun yung practice. But, I make sure na, kumbaga parang kahit na on time sila na okay. So, sanay tayong mga Pinoy dito na umagahan, tanghalian, hapunan, may kasamang merienda, di ba? But, make sure that what is on their plate is something that is healthy options for them. So you can put all of your broccoli, carrots, all of the soft vegetables that we can introduce them. Kasi toddler years are very much important when it comes to the familiarity, when it comes to the fruits and vegetables for them. So the others naman then is depende naman with their activity. So, like, dun sa bunso ko, ang nangyari sa kanya is on his own. So, kumbaga, kapag ka ganun po, just make sure it's more on, ano ba yung kailangan nating ibigay sa kanila. Kasi baka mamaya, yes, hahayaan natin silang kumain, but what we are going to give them is more on the sweets, 'di ba? Chocolates or high in sugar na mga cookies, 'di ba? So that is also something that we also need to consider.
So what about monkey see, monkey do? Meaning if the parents are obese, the child will be obese.
Yeah, most probably kasi it's all about the habit, 'di ba? So especially kumbaga yun nga as I mentioned earlier na kung ano yung nakikita nila, most probably yun din yung gagawin nila talaga and nagiging part of their habit. So if for example in a typical dinner time or salo-salo with the family, your kids are seeing you eating vegetables, 'di ba? So they might have this curiosity na what's that on mommy's plate? So may I taste that? So that's the best time for us to introduce it to them.
Okay,
diba?
when does obesity start to happen or when is it a threat? Kasi meron namang mga cute baby nung pinanganak talagang lumabas lobo eh. Hindi baby, no? Sabi nga nung isang tiyahin ko, kayo lahi kayo ng mga drum, mga amoy lang kayo ng ulam, lumalapad kayo. But there are babies who eventually slim down, and there are toddlers who just, okay, that's it. We have a problem.
Yeah. So with that one po, as the kids are getting more active, so that's the time kasi that the physical activity, even on their toddler years, are very important. Kasi kailangan nilang ma-burn din yung mga calories na kinakain nila. So if your kid are used to have this lots of food items that are high in common na sugars, like yung mga biscuits natin, mga cookies, diba? Syempre, kailangan na ilalabas din nila yan. Walang pinagkaiba sa ating mga adults, diba? So we also need to, it's all about the calorie in versus the calorie out. So, yun. So that's one thing.
Have you had people come to you and say, Jhoanne, yung anak namin problema na lumalaki na, pwede na naming i-dribble gamitin bola and what do you do? How do you assess if a child has a nutrition problem, has an obesity problem, and what do you recommend or what treatment do you do?
Yeah, first, once na the patient comes to me, the parents of the kid wants the assessment. So first thing na ginagawa natin is really to check ano ba yung usual food intake ng bata. What is the common food items that are present at home? So with your pantry, what are the usual food items na part of the grocery, food choices niya? Yeah.
What have you discovered dun sa mga pumupunta sa'yo? Kasi meron kang assessment. What do you discover that contribute to obesity, childhood obesity?
Yeah, it's really more on the sweets and fatty foods, Sir Cito. Kasi lalo ngayong pandemic, 'di ba? So, kumbaga, many of us tend to stay at home. So all of the food items, food delivery, napakadali. So if you don't want to feel cooking, diba? So yun yung kakainin natin. And kung ano yung usual na pagkain sa bahay, kung ano yung in-order natin for us, it is also the main food items for our kids. So that is one of the, kumbaga parang common problem na I encountered, especially during this pandemic. After the pandemic na. So kasi kumbaga parang with this one, naging peak actually ng nutrition consultation ko is actually 2021, 2022 So it's more on the awareness of the kids as well and the parents also.
Okay, so kasi pag tinanong, ano ba talaga yung pagkain? Kasi okay, fast food, problema na yan, number one. But apparently, many parents don't know what fatty foods are. They don't realize that a box of cookie has high fat content, etc. What are the common food items that you've discovered kids have been fed with that are not good for them?
Yung mga box juices natin. So they are all packed with all of the sugars, diba? So yun talaga. Okay. And all of the cookies and yung mga biscuits na readily available na kapag once na you go to the grocery, if your kids are with you, easy access for them to get it and just put it on the cart. So, iyon ang one of the common food items po that contribute talaga.
Which is the bigger threat? The sugar content of food or the fat content of the product?
Yeah, actually with that, Sir Cito, both of them are the things na kailangan na kino-consider natin because, for example, for our sugar, sa madaling salita, in just 1 teaspoon of your table sugar, that is equivalent to 20 calories already. So for the fats naman natin, magdagdag lang tayo ng 1 teaspoon ng butter to our intake, that's 45 calories already. So for us to have the common
pwede ko bang patayin na yung camera? Inaapi mo na ako masyado. Sa 3-4 na tasang kape ko, isang heaping teaspoon. So, tapos pagluluto ako ng tinapay sa umaga, may butter.
Yes.
Aray ko, yung pala yung mga mali-mali ko. But for children, I want to emphasize what you said. It's the the juices.
Yeah.
Because many people think, and I myself was a victim of this, like, oh yan, mango juice, oh ayan, pineapple juice, so binili ko. Pagkatapos yung pala, hindi pala natural.
Yes.
Processed pala siya, ano pala siya, chemical, hindi siya yung piniga. It wasn't squeezed fruit. It was created fruit.
Yes, exactly, Sir Cito. Kaya we need to be more aware of the nutrition facts, especially kapag once na tumitingin tayo sa likod ng food items, di ba? Usually, lahat naman yan kapag once na you go to the grocery, you always have the nutrition facts at the back. So, ang pinaka-safe kasi natin dyan, halimbawa, sa isang araw po kasi, for the sugars per se, common na binibigay natin, part of your daily computation ng caloric intake mo is about 5 serving of sugar lang. So sa madaling salita is yung 5 teaspoon ng sugar mo lang na halimbawa, like in your case, you mentioned regarding sa kape, diba?
Oh.
So papasobra tayo ng kape. 5 teaspoon lang po ang inaalaw natin. Syempre kapag once na nagluluto tayo, may sugar din nakasama minsan, 'di ba? And minsan sa mga food items na kinakain natin, meron na siyang sugar na nakalagay. So
katulad ng Pilipino, pag kahit nung ako ay binata, nung bata-bata kami, high school, magpa-party kami, merong dance party. Ang laging binibigay, white bread at saka white spaghetti at saka spaghetti sauce na matamis. Yeah. And all the doctors I talked to, Cito, it is not surprising you got big.
Kasi it's about carbs on carbs, diba? So it's really the additional na kinakain natin. So especially ngayon, diba? Christmas season is coming. So ayan. Okay. So that is really the best parang where we are going to start. So ngayon pa lang kailangan nag-uumpisa na po tayo. Wag na nating intayin na okay sa Pasko na ganito, 'di ba? So
okay. Jhoanne, let's go for a quick break. And when we come back, kakantahan kita ng Pasko na sinta ko. Ano ang gagawin ko? Okay? Yes. We'll go for a break. When we return, we will talk to Jhoanne Cruz-Balili regarding what you need to do this Christmas to avoid becoming a statistics on the obesity board. Okay, we'll be right back here on Agenda. matatanda, is it myth or is it fact that if you eat cold rice, it tends to convert to fat on your belly faster than hot rice?
Okay. Siguro, Sir Cito, yung one common thing about cold rice is that mas marami tayong nakakain, 'di ba? Kasi you tend not to stop eh. But it's more on the conversion kasi of that carbohydrates is that anything in excess, kapag ka hindi natin siya na-burn, hindi natin siya nagamit sa katawan natin, it's where yun yung nagiging additional or nagiging part of our belly fat, 'di ba? So, yun po yun.
Okay. Ano ba ang ibig niyong sabihin sa obesity? Okay, Jhoanne, ikaw na nga mag-explain. Ano ba yung obese? Ano ba yung obesity na yan?
Okay, with the being obese po kasi, it's more on your weight and your height. So, gaano ba dapat yung timbang natin based to our height, which is we can base it to our body mass index, which is one of the indicators wherein we can check if we are on an obese level. So, yung tama ba yung timbang ko to my height? So, kapag once na sumobra po tayo to 29, to our BMI, for that, may computation po kasi tayo for that one. That's where we can check or we can say na we are on obese level already.
Okay, hindi yan nadadaan sa waistline. Because some people say, pare, ano ba problema mo? 5'11 ka, ang waistline mo 38. Hindi na masama yan.
So with that one po kasi, we have also yung waist to hip ratio naman siya na kapag once na nakita natin na, well, pagka nakita natin talaga na malaki yung sa tummy area natin. Pero it's not about being obese at all eh. Kasi there are other underlying factors din na baka mamaya it's a medical condition also na nakikita na pala kaya malaki yung tiyan natin. Diba? Kung iyon lang po yung pagbabasihan natin. But it's more on the overall health and it will take us time also and test para malaman natin na it's really just being obese or additional na fats lang to our body.
So technically and to correctly determine, you should go to your doctor, go to a dietitian, or go to a GP. Pero meron silang sinasabing parang guesstimate. Kung ang height mo ay so and so, most Filipinos are 4'11 to 5'5". Diba? Yan bang range na yan? Ano ba dapat ang timbang ng karamihang Pilipino?
Okay, so madaling salita, Sir Cito, kapag once na we are computing kasi based on height, sa ating mga Pinoy, for the first 5 feet sa ating, for example, sa babae, allow us to have 100 pounds. Then for every inch added to your height, that's additional na 5 pounds. So sa mga lalaki naman, we can start with 110. So additional lang tayo ng konti na 10 pounds lang siya. Yun yung dapat na pinaka-baseline kung height yung pagbabasihan natin. Pero there are still underlying factors like, for example, your age, your physical activities, di ba? And kumbaga parang yung number of children as well, kino-consider din po natin yun.
Okay, now why should people be concerned about obesity? Kasi sa mga Amerikano, hello naman, okay, sa Western nations, isang tingin mo lang, talagang, nagkabungguan, hindi na nagkahiwalay. Di ba? Parang, ang laki na di ba? But why should people be concerned about obesity?
Kasi there are a lot of things po kasi that can happen if you are obese. So usually mag-start dyan na your body or your organs are not functioning well kasi nababalutan na ng taba ang organs mo diba? So doon natin nakikita na yan, tumataas na ang alta presyon, diabetes also is recurring, diba? So ang dami nating
yeah, because most people don't realize that your kidney, liver, your lungs, your heart, your esophagus, your pancreas, they're in a very small area. surrounded by the rib cage, protected by some muscles, etc. Pero pag yung taba, kung saan makakapunta, pupunta, and it's squeezing. Kanya nga, meron pa nga yung fatty liver na bumabalot doon sa atay. So, all of this impact the overall performance of each organ, which will either incapacitate you or restrict your lifestyle.
Yes. Saka, syempre, di ba, kapag once na we are on the heavy side of our weight, it is also harder for us to move. So, the tendency is, tatama rin na lang tayo to do some walking. Kasi, parang, okay, lalabas lang ako ng village, pagod na ako kagad. So, what am I going to do? I will just ride a tricycle or by car, even though malapit lang yung pupuntahan natin. Kasi you can easily feel that tiredness. Diba? Which can also lead to lesser physical activity.
And the worst is, and I've seen this abroad, is that instead of saying, well, I have to really start walking again or start exercising, they will buy an electric bike or an electric, ewan ko ang tawag doon, scooter na may silya and then get themselves declared as PWD. Pero ang actual problem is obesity. It's not really a problem of mobility, etc. So yun yung nangyayari and it gets worse.
Kaya it's really about the diet and exercise. So tulad ng lagi nating sinasabi, para yung mag-asawa, hindi natin pwedeng paghiwalayin. It should always come together that if you are doing healthy eating diet, diba, it should always come with physical activity. So for example, 30 minutes of walking around the village or even at home, it is also a good exercise already. But if you are on the heavier side or considered as obese already, we also need to make extra effort for us to burn more calories, diba?
Oh, okay. Now, what are the danger signs? Or what do you always tell your clients na, teka, may problema ka na?
So with that, kasi Sir Cito, with my clients, kasi I always start with the blood chemistry kasi. So for us to have their blood check, kasi I also need to rule out all of the other diseases that can occur during the weight loss process. Kasi there are a lot of people that will just go to me, I want to lose weight, that's it. Pero yun pala, ang binibigay kong diet for the client is for weight loss, kaso problem is mataas sa ganito, mataas sa ganyan, which is on a normal one, kasi there's no such thing as one diet that fits all eh. So it's really more on ano yung case mo, ano yung kaya mong kainin, what are the things that you can eat during your physical activity or during your work. Kasi work is really a big indicator na kino-consider natin talaga when it comes to the weight loss process per se.
Okay, so blood test or blood chemistry is the first requirement when people see Jhoanne Balili. So, okay, what do you look for in the blood chem results? Ano yung mga danger signs? Because ang alam kami at my age, kami mga senior citizen, ang unang namin tinitingnan hindi cholesterol eh, tinitingnan namin uric acid.
Yes.
Diba? Parang
very controversial for me ang uric acid kasi imagine if you are obese and then mataas ang uric acid mo. So the meal guide or the food guide that is allowed for weight loss process, hindi siya pwede on a normal na mataas ang uric acid. Kontra sila to each other. So that is one thing na kino-consider. Kasi one thing na napansin ko, even ngayon, which is more concerning, is that even the medical condition that usually appear on the late 50s, 60s of age, nakikita ko na siya as early as 30s. And would you imagine, ang pinakabata kong client for fatty liver is 13 years old. So that is really concerning.
Okay. So it's really bad that 13 years old may fatty liver na. But how easy is it to reverse these things?
It will take a lot of months and ano talaga Sir Cito. So, usually what I do is it's more on the how many months siya. So, when you inquire kasi to my nutrition consultation, for example, I do have this program na 3 months agad, which is consider natin dito from the first time that you get your blood chemistry check or your blood test up to the next time. Kasi usually the doctor will ask you to, okay, get back to me after 3 months. I will give you this medication, this and that. So these are the things that you need to do. So our goal is when you go back to your general practitioner, your result will be lesser or improvement. So that
Lowered.
yes, lowered na siya. Kumbaga when
Okay.
it comes to your sugar, uric acid, lipid profile, everything.
So at least 3 months, if not 6 months, aabutin yan to
Okay.
see improvements in the chemistry, in the profile, and also in the weight. Okay, now you were talking about contradictions. High uric acid is a obstacle for people who want to go through weight loss. Did I understand you correctly?
Yes, correct.
Why?
So it's more on kasi when we are dealing with uric acid, the pinaka meal plan natin or meal guide natin will be controlled yung protein intake natin and also the fiber, which is on a weight loss process. Yun yung two things na kailangan natin. We need to give enough protein for us to help with the process of building more muscle, and at the same time the fiber, yun kasi yung magic eh. If there's really one thing that I really appreciate more is it's really about how the fiber works for our body. It's more on kasi para siyang walis na kapag once na kinain natin siya, lahat ng dadaanan niya, all of the fats there, it will attach to that fiber para mas madali natin siyang ma-flush out to our body. So that's where the excess fats and excess sodium in our body will come out. So lesser weight, lesser inch loss, diba?
Okay, what about supplements? May gumagamit ba ng supplements sa weight loss, etc.? Because some people, when they go through training, weight loss, ang dami nilang iniinom na supplements. Yung commander-in-chief ko, inaaway na ako. Ba't ka bigay sa akin ng vitamins? Para bata ka, para ma-pretty. But are there blood tests you can do to make sure that you do not need to take supplements?
Okay. With the supplements po kasi, we are nothing against it. If your intake is not enough with all of the vitamins and minerals, that's the best time for us to give or for us to consume ng supplements. But if you are like, for example, with the vitamin C, you are taking a lot of citrus fruits, diba? Oranges, lemon in your water, diba? And all of the green veggies, definitely you don't need it. But yun nga lang, syempre with the pandemic, diba? With the COVID-19, we need extra. So that's the time na kumukuha tayo or nagdadagdag lang tayo. But if your intake is kumbaga parang enough, diba? So for me, there's no need to have supplementation na on a regular basis, kumbaga.
You were talking about fiber. Now, I have written about it. I've mentioned it casually that my wife and I have become vegetarian. And when word got out, some people, and in fact, some of my friends who are physicians said, Cito, you can be 95% vegetarian. Pero pare ko, you need at least 5% protein. So I said, okay, I'll just take eggs na lang or legumes or whatever. What's the advantage and disadvantage of putting an obese person on a vegetarian diet?
Okay. With that, first thing is lesser pagdating dun sa calorie intake. Kasi imagine, kanina I mentioned regarding the sugar and the fats, 1 teaspoon ang usapan natin. With this one naman po, with our veggies, for every cup of our gulay, for example, if it's steamed or simpleng pinakuluan lang natin or no additional fats at all, ang makukuha lang natin dyan, imagine, is between 8 to 16 calories lang per serving. which
Mhm.
is much lesser, but it can give you that feeling of fullness already. So,
Correct.
kumbaga, with our stomach, half ng stomach natin will be feel na, oy, medyo busog na ako. So, by then, na I will eat rice or protein, medyo konti na lang yung kailangan ko because I already eat the enough fiber, enough fruits and veggies that I need from my daily intake.
Okay. So, what about yung rice issue? Because, when you talk to people who are trying to lose weight or discussing obesity, kanya ako pare, 1 cup of rice na lang ako. Ay, kung ano yung cup mo, yung katulad yun nasa billboard ng kape puro kasing laki ng planta.
Laki. Pero with the rice naman po kasi, it should be part of our daily food intake talaga because carbohydrates are the main source of our energy. Ngayon, it doesn't mean naman kasi na yes, very common. Sinasabi, rice is my culprit. That's why I become fat, 'di ba? Pero hindi natin nakikita na with the rice, meron tayong protein na makukuha din dito, not just with the carbohydrates per se. And also with the fiber, especially if you are taking ng mga brown rice, red rice, diba? So it's more on the fiber side na nadadagnag natin to our intake. And especially, minsan nasisisi lagi si rice. So sinasabi, sige, I do not eat rice for dinner, I just eat salad. Pero kamustahin natin ang dressing. Yun pala, sandamakmak ang dressing sa gilid, diba? Naku, mukhang natamaan yata ako. May natamaan yata ako dito, Sir Cito.
Dinadaan na lang kita sa tawa, Jhoanne. Sa totoo lang, malapit ko na disconnect yung camera mo. No, but that's a valid point because you're not the first person to raise that. A few other friends have said, so many people go vegetarian, but they compensate by putting sauces, by putting salad dressings, and sabi nga sa akin, nagpapayat ka pa, ganun din naman yung sugar intake mo.
Yes. And imagine po, mabalik tayo sa dressing. Yung isang kutsara na akala natin kaunti lang for our dressing, for our 1 plate of our veggies, diba? That 1 tablespoon for every teaspoon, that's 45 calories. Imagine, 45 sa isang kutsara, meron tayong 3 teaspoons. So 45 times 3, that is how much? 135 calories already. Yung 1 tablespoon na yun, it's just the additional from your for your salad. Wherein, if we are going to compare it to our rice, ang half cup of rice natin na pwede tayong mabusog, it is only 100 calories po. So imagine the comparison. That half cup of rice versus the 1 tablespoon of your dressing.
So the sugar and the fat in the dressing has higher calories than a cup of rice.
Yes, exactly. Kaya you really need to limit your sweet, salty, and fatty foods po.
Kanya po mga kaibigan, wag naman yung sasabihin, kaya hindi ako gumagamit ng kutsara eh. Dinidiretso ko na lang yung bote. Okay, but Jhoanne, I'm just humoring our viewers. But I don't want them to lose hope naman.
Yes,
okay?
Of course.
Is there a way to compensate naman? Parang, hello, Jhoanne, pwede ba wag mo naman tanggalin yung kaligayahan namin? Bigyan mo na lang kami ng, give us an alternative or give us an option to compensate. You were talking about 30 minutes walk after every meal ba or before going to bed, but what are the things people can do to compensate? Because I'm already I rebuke the statement, but some would say half dead, para ka ng walking zombie dahil puro na lang gulay kinakain mo.
Nako, anong tawag, with this, Sir Cito, ako, as a nutritionist-dietitian and as a Pinoy, hindi po kasi talaga ako naniniwala na ang rice is something that is kailangan nating tanggalin to our daily intake. It's just that we need to be more mindful regarding the quantity and when is the time that you are going to put that carbohydrates, that rice to your intake. It's more
Meaning?
on, yes, imagine, adobo, normal sa pagkainan natin mga Pinoy. Makakain mo ba ng walang rice, di ba? Yes, you can do that. But it's more on, you will really feel the happiness and the joy every time that you are eating that na with the rice. It's just that, gaano ba karami yung kailangan ko lang kainin, di ba?
Yeah, so what do you do to compensate? Okay, some people will say, I'm sorry, but nagjijeta na ako, I try to cut down, but please don't take away my simple joy in life. What else can I do? Some people would say, dapat siguro drink more water, or are there medicines that people can take to suppress their appetite? Is that a good idea?
No need for the antisuppressant. It's more on yung eating habits natin. Kasi it's about our food relationship. How we see food, our perception regarding pagkain. Kapag nai-stress tayo, ano yung unang kinakain natin, di ba? But it's more on how are we going to compensate? It's more on ano yung kailangan ko idagdag to my plate. For example, you have that, kumbaga parang sweets na alam mo na magiging ending of your day, diba? So ano ba yung una ko munang kailangan kainin? Which is, it will still fall down to the fiber, which is the vitamins and minerals na kailangan natin to our body, which is your fruits and vegetables pa din siya. Na it will really help you a lot na ano ba yung kailangan kong idagdag to my intake to make it more healthy. Kasi we are not saying naman na hindi talaga ako magbibigay na we need to eliminate this to your diet or that. Kasi we just need to see ano yung culprit mo. Then from there is we are going to check kailangan ba natin siyang bawasan lang ng konti or baka naman timing lang. For example, sa sweets, I am still allowing my clients to have sweets in between. Pero they can only have it until 4 p.m. for their PM snack lang. So that it will not add up dun sa afternoon routine mo. Kasi for sure, the activities is much lesser pagkadating ng hapon, paggabi na. So kapag 4 p.m. kasi pataas, kaya mo pa yan eh. Kaya pa nating mag-workout, kaya pa nating maglakad ng konti sa labas after our intake, diba? So that's the thing na pwede po nating gawin din.
What about spicy foods? Because, ewan ko may pagkapiloso po ako, Jhoanne. Sinabi ko doon sa mga kaibigan ko, gayahin nyo na lang yung mga tiga-Thailand. Meron ka nakitang matabang tiga-Thailand, puro maanghang ang pagkain nila. Yeah. But does it really help?
With the spicy food po kasi, Sir Cito, it's more on, it's also something kasi na it can help to boost our metabolism, which is the one responsible for our, kumbaga sa panunaw natin, diba? So that is one thing na very important also. So with the spicy food, that is the component, pero it will not start and end with the spicy food. It will still fall down na ano yung mga activities na ginagawa mo all throughout the day. But it can help.
So drinking water, good, bad?
Drinking water is very good to our body because it is the natural cleansing that we can do. Diba? So at least 6 to 8 glasses a day yung kailangan natin. But not coming from, sabihin na natin, sige, may tubig naman yung kape ko, yun na lang gagawin kong tubig. It's not like that. It's more on the 6 to 8 glasses na kailangan natin. But if you can drink more than that, that's totally fine, especially if you are working out and a lot of sweating na nagaganap.
Or nakakatulad dito, nasa aircon studio ka o nasa aircon offices ka, kailangan mo yun. Because the reason I'm bringing it up is someone had told me, sometimes we mistake thirst for hunger. Is that true?
Yes, exactly. Try to, same signal kasi siya. When you feel thirsty, it's the same signal from your stomach to your brain na, uy, parang nagugutom ka. But try to drink 1 to 2 glasses of water. Pagka nawala yung gutom mo, definitely uhaw lang yon, Sir Cito.
Okay, what about yung kulang sa tulog?
Okay.
Lack of sleep, does that, because some people say, No, because he works nights or he doesn't sleep well, so he eats a lot to compensate, and that's why he's obese.
Yeah. With that naman po, kapag once na kulang ang tulog natin, it can add up kasi with the additional stress to our body, which is responsible na mag-slow down yung progress na dapat ginagawa ng katawan natin from the time na dapat natutulog tayo. Kasi sabi nga, di ba, kumbaga, by the time of 10 p.m. to 2 a.m., this is the time where regeneration of cells is happening inside our body. So imagine, kung ikaw, gising ka pa by this time, hindi nagagawa ng katawan mo kung ano yung dapat na ginagawa niya. But, may process pa din kasi syempre, especially ngayon, there's a lot of work na ang nangyayari is graveyard shift talaga. And I do have a lot of clients na ganun ang schedule. But, they still manage to lose the extra weight from their starting point because kaya pa rin naman siya, so mag-extra effort lang tayo talaga coming from the food na ano ba yung dapat kong kainin for me, for it to help my body, kasi ikaw lang yung makakaalam din talaga how your body will react during this period of time.
Okay, Jhoanne, as always, a lot of information, and thank you for your time, Jhoanne Cruz-Balili, and have a good day, have a happy weekend, and thank you for joining us this morning on Agenda.
Yeah, thank you also, Sir Cito.
Okay, that's Jhoanne Cruz-Balili, licensed nutritionist, dietitian, and a certified sports nutritionist. Okay, let's now go to our closing message, blessing for the week. And it is from Melody BT. Gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. It turns what we have into enough and more. So please be grateful. Express your gratitude to God Almighty, to our God Almighty, to the Lord Jesus Christ, and of course to those who have been blessing you and for the life you live, especially to your spouse, your children. Be grateful for them. Have a happy weekend. God bless you. God willing. See you next week. Please keep it here on One News.